Which market specifically do you think hyperinflation affects, and how? So could you comment on how it affects individual mortgages, the real estate market, the stock market, and gold?
Yeah, I mean, it has generally speaking, it's always a net negative. You might see, for example, on paper, your portfolio is up to 200%, which may look good, but the problem is that when you really factor for inflation, I think we've seen this, for example, in the equity markets. Equity markets have been hitting new all-time highs for the past year or so since back during the pandemic. But if you, as you pointed out, Eugene, if you adjust for the M3 supply or the increase in the money supply, we just barely broke even as of recent with the previous all-time high valuations when accounting for the increase in dollars. So it's generally going to be bad for even asset markets, generally, especially those tied to the currency. But outside of that, when it comes to bonds, if you're going through hyperinflation, your creditworthiness, or basically the willingness of other governments to lend out to you and take and buy those bonds, is going to be very, very low. So you're generally not going to be able to borrow as much from other foreign stakeholders, which means that any of the kind of borrowing pressure is going to have to be coming through, again, money printing. It's going to have to be through more bond issuance and stuff. And again, if people aren't willing to buy those bonds, then you really start to put yourself in basically in this kind of quicksand in a sense. You won't be able to sustain very long. So yeah, I would say for really asymmetric assets, you mentioned gold, silver. Those types of assets do very well during hyperinflationary periods. And I think that we've seen a lot of that momentum, though, come over to cryptocurrencies for sure. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, a lot of the assets that we support at Digifox are primed for that because they've got the highest growth potential. They work well with a younger audience that's going to be experiencing possibly hyperinflation for the first time in their lives. And they're going to be looking for something digital to protect that. That's finite in supply. That's the best element about crypto.
I remember reading a news article about people using Dogecoin in Venezuela. So it does seem like the future of transactions. It does seem like a future gold, Bitcoin at least, that you can use to transact with other people who you don't trust anymore, and which retains its value through time.